because we're going to be obviously putting a bit of purchase on these, and yeah, that looks fine. Properly tied knot, that's fine. And I'll just flick it out and just check your leading knot, just to make sure we get it to here. There it is, right, so just check that knot. Make sure, yeah, there he is, that's perfect, that's a lovely leader knot, lovely job. Right, so basically, what we want you to do is have the lead at 90 degrees to the rod tip, okay? So that's where we're having it, so it's at 90 degrees to the rod tip when we're going to do the cast. And you pull the line on your finger, okay? And you get your arms up away from your body, all right? So don't have them in tight, have them away from your body. And what we're going to do is basically push your left arm is level with your shoulder, just slightly higher. Your right arm, as you can see, is slightly lower. All right, so it's basically, it's if we were going to throw a javelin. So if I was going to throw a javelin there, that's how I would start to throw it. One-handed, I would start to try and throw a javelin using, with it in this position. So my right arm would be slightly bent, my left arm would be obviously holding the rod here. So basically that's the position we're going to be in. It's almost like pretending to throw a javelin. That's the rod, and that's the position that we take the rod through when we start our cast. It's like we're throwing a javelin, and then we pull it around and then punch it. Okay? So basically what we want you to do here is, I want you to start in this position. So you get your, first thing we do is we get our feet right, okay? So the first thing we must do is, once we're in position, once we've got the lead on the beach, we walk into position so we have our feet are a shoulder width apart, okay, and toe and heel in line. So what that means is, we don't have our feet together, we have our left leg back behind our right leg, so we've got a nice shoulder width apart here, but also when we turn, which we're going to do, as we turn to do the cast, we're also a nice shoulder width apart here. It gives us a nice platform, a steady platform for us to cast from. All right, so we're not unbalanced, we're not twisted, so that when we go from here, we're nice and balanced, and when we turn, we're nice and balanced. We've got a nice, strong platform to deal from, okay? So, basically, what we do is we drop the lead on the beach here, nice and gently. We walk into position, so that's what I always do, because what you don't want to do, and I notice when you cast, is your line, you've got slack line when you cast, and that's not what we want. When we start the cast, we want that line to be nice and taut here, whether it's a swinging cast or whether it's an off the ground cast, so that the moment we start to move our arms into the cast, watch what happens to the rod tip. It starts to pull on the rod. Immediately it starts to tension the rod, and that's what helps to load the rod and give us our distance at the end of the cast. If we have slack line, then the first part of the cast is just taking up the slack line. It's not putting any tension on the rod, and therefore we lose quite a bit of distance when we come to do our power stroke. And it can also give quite a snatchy cast, and it can result in a snap off, which I know you've had a little bit of problems with lately. It may well be that that's the cause of it. It may be something else, it could be, but that could be a cause of why you're getting the occasional trouble with a snap off, because it's a bit of a snatchy cast. So again, get your arms nicely, so left arm high, right arm slightly lower. We're in position here. You see I'm in position. I've got a nice, powerful stance. I'm not leaning over. My arms aren't pushed away from me, and nice and comfortable, but the rod is pushed away from me. And then what we do, I'm not going to cast, but I'm going to just take it through slowly. We look up, and as we start to pull through, okay, we start to turn our upper body. And as we pull through, the rod comes through at 45 degrees here. And once we get to this position, then we do our punch and pull. And then we pull with our left hand and punch with our right. And the rod travels through at 45 degrees. When we start a cast, one important thing as well is we must look up. And there's a reason for that. If we look low when we cast, our arms, for some reason, but it's true, will not cross our eye line. They won't cross it. This arm here will not cross my eye line. So what happens is, if I look low, my arms will automatically drop low. So if I look up, my arms will automatically come high, and they continue high when I cast. Okay? So what happens is we always start off with your arms in a higher position, and then we pull through in a high position, and the cast will go high. If we look low, the arms will come low, and the cast will go low. And obviously that's going to cost us a lot of distance, which you don't want. All right, so let's just get you started. Let's just nice and gently, all right? We're not going to try and put any power in. Just want you to see if you can go through the motions. What I just showed you there. All right, so if you get yourself set up with your bail arm off and ready to cast, I'll just lay the lead on the beach for you. Right, so If you walk into it now, Harry, so that you've got your feet are right. So what we want is a nice shoulder width apart. So take your left leg, that's lovely, that's better. Slightly wider apart, slightly, that's lovely, there you go. Arms up high, don't twist that away. Have the reel pushed away from you, that's it. Pull this one in slightly, there you go. It's probably a little bit too wide apart for you. So come back this way, there you go. So this, no, sorry, that's that, like that, there you go. Lovely, so this one's slightly lower, this one higher. And then we look up, all right? Now we're in position here, all right? What you're gonna do, Harry, just nice and gently, okay? Is just pull through and then hit the rod. So look up, pull through and cast. Nice and high, look at that, whoa-wee. It went slightly left, but a lot of height, that was good. And that's because, the reason you got a lot of height is because your arms are high, all right? When you go low, your arms go low. Slightly left, all right, not ideal. It was a bit of a side swipe, all right? But we'll deal with that as we go through it. But a nice bit of height and nice, you know, without putting too much power in, that went nice and high. And the reason that goes high, like I say, is because you've got your arms in a high position to start with. You can't go too far wrong. So now what we're going to do is just going to concentrate on when you turn your body, talk yourself through the cast. It's really important to talk yourself through a cast. Okay, it helps you to get with the timing. So what we do is when we start off the cast, we actually say to ourselves, with a cast, it's actually slow in, fast out, okay? And that means you slow into the cast and then fast out the cast, all right? Because the fast bit is the punch and pull right at the end, all right? Which is where we're pulling it around the body and doing a punch and pull. So we go slow in, fast out. So when we start here, when you're in position, I want you to get in position here, Harry, okay? Get into your position, walk in. I want you to look up, and then when you start the cast, say to yourself, say it out loud, it doesn't matter, slow in, fast out, okay? So what we're doing, we're trying to get this slow, fast. It doesn't mean that you go ultra slow motion to begin with. What it means is the progression through the cast. It starts off slower and then speeds up at the end. And it's the speeding up at the end which does the punch and pull. And that's what really sends the lead on its way. So the first part of the cast, we're turning our body, we're slowly moving into it. That's loading the rod. All right, that's loading everything in the correct position. The last part of the cast is the crucial bit, is the timing, is the punch and pull. If we do the punch and pull too soon, then we lose an awful lot of the power because we haven't loaded the rod correctly. So the crucial bit is to load the rod and then hit it. All right, so it's, here we are, we look up, slow in, fast out. All right, so that fast out bit is the bit where we turn the rod over. Just give it a go, don't worry about it, just give it a go. And remember to look up before you start, okay, and you'll get a nice bit of height. So remember what we said, drop the lead on the beach, lovely. Walk into position so you've got a 90 degree to the rod tip virtually, lovely, that's it. Push your arms away from you. Right, get your feet set right now, Harry. So your left leg back a bit, that's lovely, that's better. Now look up, left arm high. Right, now slow in, fast out.